So the way that I've got to know sex and resistance throughout this entire class, um, it takes many different forms through feminism, race, everything to do with that. But the way that I've gotten to learn it the most is through what my group did it on, which is sexual assault. And so the way that I have learned the most about it is just diving deep into the statistics of what happens and what it's like if you have been sexually assaulted, and you really won't know what that's like unless it has happened to you. And but I've got to know it in that sort of way, and so I think there's not a lot of people in the world that are um, the sex part. I would say for like males and females is that women are obviously they're inherently more likely to be sexually assaulted than men, so you have that gap right there. And then going to the resistance part of that, I don't think there's a lot of people in the world that think sexual assault is okay in any means, but there's also not a there's really not a whole lot of like news agencies and stories and everything that really get out there in the mainstream media that share these stories of victims and what their life has been like since, and like calling out the perpetrator and everything. And so I think that's in a way, a form of resistance that I feel like I see now since I've been studying this. And I think a woman in Berlin actually has a good quote for this. It says, "For his part, he assures me he has touched no other girl." And then it later goes on to say, "So I tried to deprive him of as much time as possible in bed as I could." And so that just shows like what these women not only went through back then, but what they go through today, because this still happens all the time. And there was resistance back then in the form that these men that were in the armies were not punished necessarily for what they did to these women. And even today, there's men that unfortunately do get away with sexual assault and rape and everything that goes along with that all too often. And in Lady Gaga's song, "Till It Happens to You," it says, "You tell me, hold your head up and be strong. Because when you fall, you got to get up. You got to get up and move on. Tell me, how the hell could you talk? How could you talk? Because until you walk where I walk, it's just all talk." So what she's saying with that is you don't know what it'll be like ever until you've been in that situation. And I think if we could get that more out there of what it is like in that situation, I know that would be hard on some people, but I also think like that would be a really big like deterrent for sexual assault to not happen as much. And then in Taylor Swift's song, "Mad Woman," it says, "Every time you call me crazy, I get more crazy. What about that? And when you say I seem angry, I get more angry. And there's nothing like a mad woman. What a shame she went mad. No one likes a mad woman. You made her like that." And whenever you see women that get really angry, like especially in these situations of sexual assault, it's because not nobody's really listening to them. And that's one of the biggest things that you can do is just listen to them. And if they want to tell their story, let them share their story as much as they can. And so that's, for the most part, what I have gotten out of this class.